I never thought I'd have to say this. I never imagined we'd reach a point where this needs to be explained, justified, or even said out loud. But here we are. Men are not your slaves, not your workhorses, not your ATMs, not your emotional punching bags, not your endless supply of resources to use and throw away. Yet look around. Look at what's happening. Look at how men are living, how much they're giving, and how they're quietly dying inside while pretending everything is fine. You're bleeding out, brother. Every single day you're losing money, time, energy, and health. And you don't even realize it. Because you've been programmed to believe this is normal, that this is love, that this is what a real man does. But here's the truth. You're being drained, systematically, methodically. And the worst part, you're helping them do it. Let's start with money. Your money, the money you wake up at 5 a.m. to earn, the money you sacrifice your dreams for, the money that keeps you awake at night. Where does it go? Really where? Not into your future, not into your growth or your security. It goes to her, to making her happy, to keeping her satisfied, to stopping her from leaving. That dinner you can't afford, but pay for anyway because real man pays. Those gifts you buy, not because you want to, but because you're scared of her reaction if you don't. That lifestyle you fund, her nails, her hair, her clothes, her girls' nights, while you wear the same old shoes and skip lunch to save money. You're literally working yourself to death to finance someone else's comfort, while your own life falls apart. I see it every day, men working 2-3 jobs, breaking their bodies in construction, factories, or offices, just to hand their paycheck to a woman who spends it without a second thought about what it cost you to earn it. She wants a vacation. You figure out how to pay for it. She wants a bigger house. You take on more hours. She wants, and you give, and give, and give, until there's nothing left of you but an empty shell just going through the motions. And the cruelest part, the way she justifies it, we need this for our family. This is an investment in us. Don't you want me to be happy? And you fall for it every single time. Because since birth, you've been conditioned to believe your worth as a man equals what you can provide. But here's what she really means. When she says, or family, she means her comfort. When she says, investment in us, she means her lifestyle. When she says, don't you want me to be happy? She's really asking if you're willing to sacrifice your happiness for hers. And what do you get in return? What value does she bring that matches what you give up? Can you even ask that question without feeling guilty? That's how deep the programming goes. You're not even allowed to question if it's fair. But it's not just money, it's your time. Your irreplaceable, never coming back time. How many hours do you spend texting her, reassuring her, entertaining her, proving that you're thinking about her? How many evenings do you spend doing what she wants instead of what you need? How many weekends disappear into her plans? Shopping, visiting her friends, doing things that drain you instead of restore you. Remember your hobbies, your dreams, your projects. Where are they now? Buried under her constant demand for attention. Why are you always on your phone? She asks when you're working on something important. Why don't you spend time with me? She complains when you try to focus on your goals, and little by little, to avoid fights, to keep the peace, you give up pieces of yourself. Your friends fade away because she doesn't like them, or because you're too exhausted from managing her emotions to keep those relationships alive. Your interests disappear because there's no time left after meeting her needs. Your growth stops because all your energy goes toward keeping her happy instead of building yourself up. I remember a client, a brilliant programmer, who had a startup idea that could have changed his life. But every time he tried to work on it, his wife would start a fight. You love that computer more than me. We'll never spend time together. You're so selfish. Eventually, he gave up, sold his equipment, let the domain expire. 5 years later, someone else launched the same idea and sold it for millions. He saw the news and just sat there, empty inside, realizing what he gave up to keep her happy. And was she happy? Of course not. She just found new things to complain about. Now let's talk about energy. your mental and emotional energy. The energy you waste every single day managing this relationship, walking on eggshells, predicting her moods, decoding what she means versus what she says. You're like a computer running 1,000 background programs, all focused on avoiding conflict, preventing explosions, maintaining peace. You wake up tired because you spent the night analyzing why she seemed distant. You can't focus at work because she didn't reply to a text. You come home exhausted, not from your job, but from the emotional labor of managing someone else's feelings. Your energy, your very life force, is being drained drop by drop, and you've accepted it as normal. Here's the part that breaks me. While you're destroying yourself, she's thriving, posting on social media about living her best life, funded by you, telling her friends how independent she is, while you pay her bills, complaining that men aren't what they used to be, while you're literally killing yourself to be one. And your health, it's collapsing. When was the last time you hit the gym regularly? When was the last time you ate properly, instead of grabbing fast food because you were too busy meeting her needs? When was the last time you slept peacefully, without anxiety about the relationship? You're gaining weight or losing muscle. Your testosterone's dropping from stress. Your blood pressure's rising. Your hair's thinning or turning gray before it's time. Your body's breaking down because you've abandoned self-care for her care. You used to be strong, alive, full of fire. Now you're running on empty, aging before your time. And the stats don't lie. In some cultures, married men live shorter lives than unmarried ones. Think about that. The very institution that's supposed to support you is literally killing you faster. And they call it normal. They call it love. They call it commitment. But it's not. This isn't love. This is exploitation. This is what slow murder looks like. Mentally, you're anxious, depressed, but you can't even admit it, because real men don't have mental health issues, right? So, you suffer in silence while she uses every emotional manipulation tactic she knows. The guilt trips when you try to set boundaries. The tears when you express your needs. The anger when you don't instantly comply. The silent treatment when you dare to prioritize yourself. She knows exactly which buttons to push, because she's the one who installed them. Over months, maybe years, she's trained you to react to her emotions like a conditioned dog. When she's unhappy, you jump. When she's disappointed, you scramble. When she threatens to leave, you beg. You've become a slave to her emotions. And the saddest part, you actually think this is love. Let me tell you about a guy I knew in college, a brilliant engineer. He had patents to his name, a bright future ahead, and a mind built for greatness. Then he met a woman who seemed perfect, beautiful, charming, said all the right things. Within 2 years, he was unrecognizable. She convinced him that his career goals were selfish, that spending time on his inventions meant he was neglecting her. He stopped working on projects, stopped seeing his mentor, even turned down a startup offer because she said, "It'll take too much time away from us." But there was no us. There was only her needs, her comfort, her plans. She built her Instagram influencer lifestyle on his money, while he slowly died inside watching his dreams disappear. When I tried to talk to him, he defended her. "You just don't understand love," he said. "Relationships require sacrifice." But whose sacrifice? It's always yours, isn't it? When was the last time she sacrificed something meaningful for you? When did she put your dreams above her comfort? When did she work extra hours so you could chase something important? The truth is, the sacrifice only goes one way, and you've been conditioned to believe that's noble. Here's what's really happening. You've turned off your critical thinking. You've shut down logic. You've stopped analyzing reality for what it is. You believe her words instead of watching her actions. She says she loves you, but treats you like a resource. She says she appreciates you, while demanding more and more. She says she needs you, but gives nothing of real value in return. If this were a business deal, you'd have walked away. If a friend treated you like this, you'd cut them off. If an employer demanded this much for so little, you'd quit. But because it's wrapped in the label of love, you tolerate what you'd never accept anywhere else. You're making emotional decisions instead of rational ones. You're investing in someone who sees you as an option, not a priority. You're pouring water into a bucket with no bottom and wondering why you're still thirsty. You've abandoned logic because society told you that questioning a woman makes you controlling, insecure, or toxic. But here's the uncomfortable truth. She's using you. Maybe not consciously, maybe not maliciously, but the outcome's the same. She's extracting your resources while giving back just enough to keep you hooked, but never fulfilled. She understands the economy of relationships better than you do. She's playing the game while you don't even realize you're in it. Think back to the early days. All that attention, affection, desire, that was the hook. The investment phase. She showed you what was possible, made you feel valued, wanted, powerful. But once she had you, once you were committed, the equation changed. Now you're the one investing, and she's the one controlling the returns. She gives just enough to keep you from walking away, but never enough to make you feel secure. That's not love. That's manipulation. It's psychological conditioning, intermittent reinforcement, the same tactic used to create addiction. Sometimes she's loving, sometimes she's distant, sometimes she appreciates you. Other times, nothing you do is ever enough. You never know which version you'll get, so you keep trying harder, giving more, chasing the ghost of those early days when you felt like a king. But those days are gone, brother. They were the bait. What you're in now is the trap. And every day you stay, every dollar you spend, every piece of yourself you give, you're feeding a system that sees you not as a man, but as a utility. The tests never stop. She'll push your boundaries to see how far you'll bend. She'll create drama just to see if you'll stay. She'll withdraw affection to see if you'll chase. She'll threaten to leave just to see if you'll beg. And every time you react emotionally, every time you give in, you lose a little more of her respect. It's a twisted game where the rules constantly shift, and you're always playing from behind. She demands loyalty while keeping her own options open. She demands transparency while hiding her secrets. She demands investment while keeping one foot out the door. That imbalance isn't accidental, it's intentional. It's the whole point. And here's the bigger picture. We've built a culture where men are disposable, where your worth is measured only by what you can provide, where the moment you can't deliver, you're replaced, discarded like a broken tool. The numbers don't lie. In divorces, men lose their homes, their children, their savings, everything they built for someone else. So what's the solution? You already know. You're just afraid to do it. You need to take your power back. You need to remember that you're a man with value, not a slave whose worth depends on what he can provide. Start making decisions based on logic, not emotion. Based on self-respect, not fear of loss. Start with your career. Stop working to fund her lifestyle. Start building your empire. Every hour you work should be an investment in your future, not a donation to hers. Focus on skills, on progress, on building something that belongs to you. Something no one can take in a breakup or a divorce. Your physical fitness, non-negotiable. Get back in the gym, not to impress her, but to reclaim your strength, your power, your pride. When you're strong physically, you're strong mentally. When you look in the mirror and see a warrior, you stop accepting life as a servant and never stop learning. Study psychology, philosophy, business, anything that sharpens your mind and expands your options. The more you understand human nature, manipulation, control, emotional games, the less you'll ever fall for them again. Knowledge is power, and right now, you're powerless because you don't understand the game being played. Set boundaries, real boundaries. Not suggestions, not polite requests, but firm, non-negotiable lines that cannot be crossed. Your time is yours to manage. Your money is yours to control. Your energy is yours to direct, and when she tests those boundaries, because she will, you hold the line. Not with anger, not with emotion, but with calm certainty that you will never be enslaved. Learn to validate yourself instead of chasing her approval. Every time you look to her for permission, for validation, for confirmation that you're a good man, you hand her your power. You become dependent on her emotional state for your sense of worth. Break that addiction. Your value doesn't come from her moods. It comes from your actions, your integrity, your discipline. Understand the reality of what's happening here. Women are drawn to strength, independence, and leadership. But once they have you, once commitment settles in, many will naturally test, push, and see how much they can extract. It's not evil, it's instinct. But just because it's natural doesn't mean you have to accept it. The formula for maintaining attraction while protecting yourself is simple. But it demands discipline. You must remain the man she was attracted to, not become the servant she can exploit. That means maintaining your independence, even inside the relationship. Having your own goals that don't revolve around her. And being willing to walk away if your basic standards aren't met. She needs to understand, not through words, but through actions, that you choose to be with her, not that you need to be. That you share your resources out of choice, not obligation. That your time and energy are gifts, not entitlements. When she truly realizes this, when she sees you have boundaries and options, the dynamic changes. But here's what most men don't get. Many women will leave once you reclaim your autonomy. When you stop being a slave, when you demand equal investment, when you refuse to be drained, she'll look for someone else willing to play that role. And you know what? Let her go. A woman who only values you for what you can provide isn't worth keeping. It's the fear of being alone that keeps men enslaved. The terror of starting over keeps you accepting what should never be acceptable. But hear me, being alone with your dignity intact is far better than being together as a slave. Being single with your time, energy, and focus directed toward your own growth is infinitely better than being slowly drained in a relationship that's killing you. I've seen men waste decades living this way. They wake up at 50, broken, exhausted, with nothing to show for all their sacrifice except an ungrateful partner who still wants more. They've funded everyone else's dreams while abandoning their own. They've built comfort for others while living in emotional poverty themselves. And the risk is real. Once you're no longer useful, once you can't provide at the same level, once you're too tired to keep up the performance, you'll be discarded. She'll find a story to justify it. We've grown apart. We're different people now. I need to find myself. But the truth is simpler. You're no longer a valuable resource. So you're being replaced. I've seen it again and again. A man gives his best years, his health, his dreams, builds a life for someone else, and when he finally needs support, when he stumbles, when he can't keep giving, suddenly she's unhappy. Suddenly she needs space. And before he knows it, he's alone, broken, with nothing to show for decades of sacrifice. The modern relationship model is broken. It's built on male sacrifice and female consumption, on men proving their worth through provision, while women's worth is assumed. It's built on the lie that a man's value equals utility, while a woman's value equals existence. Until men wake up to this reality, until they stop participating in this system of exploitation, nothing will change. Remember this: every resource you give away is gone forever. Every moment you spend in servitude is a moment stolen from your potential. Every sacrifice made for someone who wouldn't do the same for you is self-betrayal. You are not a utility. You are not a resource to be mined. You are not a slave to be worked until you break. Don't be that man. Don't wait until you're too broken to rebuild. Don't sacrifice your prime years on the altar of someone else's happiness. You are not a slave. You are not a resource to be extracted. You are not a machine to be used until you collapse. You are a man with one life, limited time, and finite energy. Every resource you give away is gone forever. Every year you spend enslaved is a year you'll never get back. Every piece of yourself you give to someone who doesn't reciprocate is a piece lost forever. The change starts now, today, this moment, not with grand gestures or angry confrontations, but with a shift in mindset. You are not a slave. Say it, believe it, live it. Start making decisions that reflect that truth. Start valuing yourself the same way you've been taught to value others. When she demands, you evaluate. When she manipulates, you recognize. When she extracts, you protect. Not with hostility, but with calm confidence. The confidence of a man who knows his worth and refuses to be diminished. This isn't about being selfish or cruel. It's about being balanced. It's about ensuring that what you give is matched by what you receive. It's about transforming from a slave into a sovereign man. When you change, the relationship dynamic changes. It will either evolve into something mutual and respectful, or it will end. Either outcome is better than slavery. Both lead to freedom. The only losing move is to keep accepting exploitation and calling it love. Men are not slaves. You are not a slave. And the moment you truly understand, embody, and live that truth, everything changes. Your energy returns, your health improves, your resources grow, your dignity is restored. You become who you were meant to be, not the tool society trained you to become. This is your wake-up call. This is your moment of choice. Keep bleeding out your life force for someone who only sees you as a resource. Or reclaim your autonomy and build a life where you're valued for who you are, not just what you provide. The choice is yours. But remember this, every single day you delay that choice, every day you keep accepting slavery, is a day of your life you'll never get back. And one day, when it's too late, when you're too broken, when every resource is drained, you'll wish you had listened to this message sooner. Don't wait for that day. Don't wait for rock bottom. Don't wait until she discards you the moment you're no longer useful. Take control now. Reclaim your life now, because you are not a slave. Men are not slaves, and neither are you.